speaker this morning is working on speech number 5. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. He's working from his Competent Communications Manual. The objective is to use smooth and natural body language to express his message. The title of his speech is A Winning Attitude. Shedrick Dukes.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster. I've been thinking about a winning attitude and how you develop a winning attitude despite all the different things that life may throw at you. And so I was reading Dale Carnegie, who said many of the important things that have been accomplished in this world were accomplished by people who kept on trying despite all the things that seemed like there was no way, no hope at all. And when I looked at that, I thought, well, maybe a winning attitude is the level of effort that someone puts in. And then I read Viktor Frankl, who said, everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the one last human freedom, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose our own way. And I thought, well, maybe a winning attitude is more of our choice. Then I looked at Norman Vincent Peale, who said, a person sends out positive thoughts, activates the world around them, and draws back to himself positive results. And so I was thinking, maybe a winning attitude is more of how we think. And as I meditated on these, I began to realize that they all kind of encompass the winning attitude. And it's probably best summed up by Lou Holtz, who said, ability is what we're capable of doing. Motivation determines what we do. Attitude determines how well we do it. So in the next couple of minutes, I want to share with you how we grow a winning attitude despite those different obstacles that life will throw at us, like bad days, feeling stuck, or just the little stuff that really gets in the way. When you think about a bad day, a lot of times we think about those misfortunes that seem to happen one after the other, and they just kind of grow into something bigger. And we have to ask ourselves, or it would be better to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this day? A lot of times bad days are teaching us how to be patient and be more and to persevere more. You can't allow those bad days to snowball into a stroke of bad luck. A prime example, one morning I woke up, I was late, I was like, okay, I got to get to Toastmasters because I'm the table topics master for that morning. So I'm driving like crazy to get to the meeting, and I was late, so I wasn't the table topics master, but I was just in time to be selected to speak for a table topics. And just went to work. But you know what I found the next week? Someone else was late just like me. I think it was John Lawson. And I realized we all have bad days. We're not alone, and the world is not out to conspire against us. But what about when you're feeling stuck? Sometimes the question to ask ourselves is, what is it that we're doing or not doing that has us feeling stuck? A lot of times it's maybe our feeling of wanting to control everything instead of being patient and waiting, or fearing change, or not trusting what those who we are around are telling us and listening with open minds. For example, I've been interviewing for an assistant principal position at 4 different schools, and not one had called me back for a second interview. And I was venting to my wife about how come I hadn't gotten the position. And she said to me, didn't you say last week that Donna interviewed for 25 different schools and in 2 years had not been selected for a position? And when I thought about that, I started to realize how minuscule my venting was. So I went to the next interview, and I was hired. Well, what about the little stuff that just comes at you then, like when you get that new job? See, every day there are numerous disappointments that we encounter. And we have to begin to look at that little stuff, those little things, as potential teachers. See, those confusing situations are opportunities for us to work on practicing mindfulness. those difficult people that we just really don't want to deal with are opportunities for us to display compassion. But most of the time, we invest a lot of emotional energy in the little things, and often that's because we're trying to avoid the complex issues that we think will be so overwhelming. And if we let those little things go, we'll probably find that the complex and major things really aren't so overwhelming after all. For example, ever gotten into an argument with a significant other and felt like all those things that I told her she should be doing, or that I knew I should be doing, the argument was really about listening, not the honeydews. And after the argument was over, we began to realize that we really do listen to each other a lot more and find that it works out better. Will it really be as vivid of an issue in an hour, or in a week, or in 5 years? See, you can't avoid the challenges, but you can stop fighting the process and enjoy the journey. To kind of sum that up, it's not the events that we encounter. It's our choice of our life that create our fate. Stephen Covey kind of summed it up by saying our ultimate freedom is our right and our power to decide who, anyone, or anything outside of us that will affect us. And I'll finish by saying, after all, it's not the problems that we encounter, it's the obstacles we overcome that grow the winning attitude. Mr. Toastmaster.